So let's start with the question. No casino in the mountains. So you are given an array A of n numbers and a number k. The value AI describes the weather on the ith day. If it rains on the ith day, then AI is equals to 1. Otherwise, if it is a good day, then AI is equal to 0. Okay, so basically, if AI is equals to 1, then it is raining, while if AI is equals to 0, then it is a good day. Okay, so Jean wants to visit as many peaks as possible. One hike to a peak takes exactly k days. So in order to hike, it takes k days to finish one hike, and during each of these days the weather must be good. Okay, that is, formally he can start a hike on day I only if all a of j is equal to 0. Okay, after each hike, before starting the next one, Jean must take a break of at least one day, meaning that on the day following a hike, he cannot go on another hike. Find the maximum number of peaks that Jean can visit. Okay, so basically, in this question, we are given an array that mentions the weather information of the days. Okay, and we are also given k, which shows that how much time does it take in order to complete one hike. Okay, so we have to find that how many hikes can Jean be able to finish, the maximum number of hikes. Okay, so and the hike is only carried when the day is good. Okay, so for example, let's see a first test case in order to understand this question a bit better. So the first test case is, we have n, we have k, 5 and 1. Okay, and we have the days array as 0, 1, 0, 0 and 0. Okay, so it takes one day in order to finish one hike. Okay, so if Jean starts at the first day, which is the 0th element of the array, so let's write the indexes. So if Jean starts on 0th day, and in one day he covers the hike, and the next day he rests. Okay, and again he starts at day 2 and does the hike and rests the other day and hikes again. As the value of k is 1, the hike is finished in one day, and then the total number of days, the total number of hikes possible is three hikes. Okay, so one day one hike, and that's how it's completed. Okay, so now let's see another test case. So it's 7 and 3, n is 7 and k is 3. So n7, we have 7 days and 3 days are needed in order to complete one hike. Okay, so we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0. Okay, so there's the weather information for 7 days. Okay, so let's take it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so let's see, for these many days he'll be able to complete one hike, right? And he'll rest the next day, and for these many days he'll complete another hike. So we get 2 maximum possible number of hikes that are possible. Okay, so what are we seeing here? That we can use a sliding window of length k, where in that window all the elements are 0. Okay, so here the sliding window would be of length 3, right? And if the sliding window is complete, then one hike is completed, right? And after that we are going to skip one day, and then we are going to take the other elements also. Okay, so now let's see another test case or understand it a little bit more better, right? So let's take this test case. Okay, so it's 6 and 2, n is 6 and k is 2, right? And we have 0 0 1 0 0 and 0. Okay, so it's 0 1 2 3 4 and 5. So as we have k is equals to 2, we are going to have, let's take I here, right? And if I is equals to and j here. Okay, let's take I here and j here. So if 0 is present in this position, we are going to increment it, right? J is incremented, so the window becomes k times long. Okay, so we have j minus I plus 1 as 2, right? So as we are having this thing, then it completes one hike. Okay, so we are going to increment the count from 0 to 1. Okay, now what happens? We are going to skip one day, so j becomes j plus 2, right? So j becomes 1 plus 2, that is 3, right? So j comes here, and we also put I to this position, right? Okay, so now we count again, right? If it's 0, we are going to increment j, and if again j minus I plus 1 is equal to the value of k, then we are going to increase the count. So it's 2. Now the next day is off, and the value of j becomes 6, because it's j is equals to j plus 2, right? And it becomes 6. I also becomes 6, and we have no further elements in the array, so we stop. That's how we get count is equals to 2. Okay, now let's apply this method to another of the test case. This test case, let's see this test case. We have n and k as 4 and 2. Now what was the array? It's 0 1 0 1. Okay, 0 1 0 and 1. Let's write the indexes, right? Okay, so we are going to start with the first element, right? Here is the position of I, here is the position of j. Okay, so as it is 0, we are going to increment j, right? And we encounter a 1, and if we encounter a 1, we are going to increment j and going to shift the position of I to j, because consequently the days are not good, hence the hike cannot be made. Okay, So yeah, in the next iteration we put j here, and as it encounters another one, it is going to go one step further, and I also going to go one step further. So I becomes 4 and j also becomes 4, and our count remains 0. Okay, so the output is going to be 0 for this test case that we see. Okay, so I hope you understood the approach of this problem. It's going to be solved using sliding window and 2 pointers. Okay, so let's see the code for this question. So we enter the value of n and we enter the value of k. We make a vector d with n elements. Right, we're going to input the value of d. Right, this is going to store the weather conditions of the particular day. Right, we have I is equals to 0 and j is equals to 0. We are going to start with the first element. Okay, and while I is less than n and j is less than n, the number of days, first of all we are going to check if the jth element is 1 or not. If it is j, then we are going to skip and we are going to place I into the same position as j. Okay, else if we found 0 at this position and the length of the sliding window is equals to k, then we are going to increment the count. We are going to increment j by 2 and we are going to change the position of I as well. Right, else we are going to just increment j because we haven't reached the length of the sliding window to be k. Okay, so we are going to increment it because it was neither 1, it was 0 the position, and we are going to increment the number of days. Okay, so here we output the count. So I hope you understood the approach of solving this problem, and if you have any doubts you can write in the comment section. Thank you.